Hello everyone, I will be exploring our lesson on how a bill becomes a law, specifically smoking laws. So it's a 55-minute lesson, grade 12, and the subject is government. So here we have our central focus of the unit, essential literacy strategy focus, which has to do with students researching, and our related skills. Students will relate to real life tobacco regulations and laws, and on our content focus has to do with procedures and power behind how a bill becomes a law and how the power of law affects the regulations of the smoking industry. So here are our standards, which we took them from the actual lesson that was provided for us, and then we also looked for an ELA standard that fit with what we were focusing on regarding literacy, which was the research aspect. Here are our learning objectives, so students will be able to explain how laws are passed. Students will be able to describe current advertising and age regulations governing the tobacco industry, and students will be able to connect current laws and regulations to real-life examples. Here are assessments to go along with these objectives. So we have an informal assessment and a formal assessment, which is the graphic organizer that will be turned in as an exit ticket. So for language function, we have explain and additional language demands. We have our key vocab right here, and our discourse, which has to do with pair share, group discussion, and class discussion. So here's our list of resources and materials. And so student prior knowledge. So students will be able to explain what the three branches of government are and have a preliminary understanding of each branch's roles and responsibilities. Students might also have some prior knowledge of current tobacco regulations. Next, we have our transition from the previous activity, in which we asked students to explain or describe what the roles of the three branches of government are, such as executive, judicial, and legislative. Then we move on to our hook and purpose for learning, in which we ask students if they've seen or heard of any tobacco laws or regulations, specifically that have to do with age and advertisements on big tobacco. And then we move on to focused instruction or modeling, in which we will be showing them a video, specifically a Schoolhouse Rock video of how a bill becomes a law. And we'll have an interactive lecture in which the lecture will accompany skeleton notes that students can take notes on during the lecture. And there's also checks for understanding throughout the interactive lecture as well, in order to ensure that students are understanding the material and making sure that if there's any discrepancies, that the teacher is able to make changes to better implement the content and make sure that students are understanding it and following along. And then here we have some differentiation and scaffolds for English learners and struggling students as well. Here we have guided instruction and practice, in which we pass out the tobacco regulations worksheet. And using this website, we are able to work together with the students to show them an example of how to fill out the worksheet. And here's some more differentiation regarding this section. And then we have independent practice, in which students they will be grouped and divided depending on what they're going to research. So some students will be researching age and some advertising regarding tobacco regulations. And each groups of students research and explore these laws and fill out their tobacco regulations worksheet. And then after students research, we give them time to describe what they found with their partner. And there's more differentiation. And here we also have differentiation for accelerated learners as well, in which we could see that we pair them with other English learners, long-term English learners, or struggling students, which allows them gives them an opportunity to teach the content to their peers, which in turn engraves that content more deeply into their knowledge as well. And then closure. So this is just a quick closure in which there's a class discussion on research, and then they will ultimately turn in the tobacco regulations graphic organizer as an exit slip. Thank you.